Channel Bank Jali News would give you several information about Trump Organization lawyers put former CFO Allen Weisselberg's plea deal in the spotlight. By Graham Cates, November 18, 2022, 7:26 p.m., CBS News. Attorneys in the Trump Organization's criminal trials sought Friday to drum up doubts about a plea deal struck by the prosecution's key witness. Former Chief Financial Officer Allen Weisselberg was charged along with two Trump Organization entities in July 2021 with more than a dozen counts related to fraud and tax evasion. Weisselberg entered a guilty plea in the case in August. Prosecutors for the Manhattan District Attorney agreed to recommend a 5-month jail sentence and repayment of back taxes in exchange for Weisselberg's testimony against the company at trial. Defense attorney Alan Futerfas asked Weisselberg on Friday, to get that 5-month sentence you had to plead guilty to every charge in that indictment. Correct, which I was guilty of, replied Weisselberg. Later, another attorney, Susan Necheles, hit at a 17-page long list of questions Weisselberg had to answer in court when he entered his guilty plea, a process called allocution. You're worried as you sit there today that if you change one word of what the prosecutors asked, they might recommend lengthening your sentence, Necheles said. Weisselberg responded that he had been instructed to testify truthfully. In your mind you're worried about your sentence, right? Necheles asked. Naturally, Weisselberg said, questioning Weisselberg for a second time this week. Prosecutor Susan Hoffinger sought to establish that members of the Trump family had some awareness of Weisselberg's tax scheme, in which he and allegedly other executives received luxury benefits and hefty bonuses, and then reduced the salary and income by the amount of those bonuses when they reported to tax authorities. Weisselberg said Friday that practice also helped the company, lowering its payroll obligations. Weisselberg said Eric Trump only became aware of the practices when they were ceased, due to an internal review of the company's tax practices, referred throughout the trial as a cleanup, conducted after Donald Trump became president. At the time, Eric Trump was in charge of the day-to-day operations of the company. On Thursday, Weisselberg testified under prosecutor questioning that former President Trump, or at times his sons Eric Trump or Donald Trump Jr., signed checks to pay up to $100,000 for private school tuition for Weisselberg's grandchildren. Weisselberg said he paid the money back by instructing the company's controller to deduct the $100,000 from his salary, allowing him to report a smaller income. Both sides have frequently mentioned Weisselberg's close, decades-long relationship with the Trump family and Trump Organization. On Friday, Hoffinger once again highlighted that the relationship remains close. Hoffinger asked Weisselberg who is paying for his legal team, who she described as some of the best lawyers in New York City. The Trump Organization, he replied. She then asked if he had met with a Trump Organization defense attorney, Alan Futerfas, on Wednesday. Weisselberg replied that he had. The other's news was, Trump PAC, Republican Party paid law firms in Trump Organization criminal trial. By Graham Cates, updated on November 18, 2022, 9:59 a.m., CBS News. 3 law firms involved in the Trump Organization's criminal trial, including one representing the prosecution's star witness, recently received payments from political groups associated with former President Donald Trump, records show. The payments, totaling more than $500,000 in the last 2 months, made by the Save America PAC and the Republican National Committee, highlight what appear to be the close links shared between the Republican Party and Donald Trump's personal and corporate legal apparatus. These links appear to show the former president's legion of loyal political donors were tapped to support his corporation's legal troubles. Columbia University law professor Richard Briffault, an expert on campaign finance law, said of the payments, on its face, it seems questionable. Generally, these entities are required to spend money only on election-related activity. Briffault said, "I could certainly see the argument that this has implications for Trump's ability to be a successful candidate, but it strikes me as at the very least pushing the bounds." Former Trump Organization Chief Financial Officer Allen Weisselberg has testified for Manhattan prosecutors for more than 2 days this week. In the audience throughout was his attorney, Nicholas Gravanti, a partner at the New York firm Cadwallader, Wickersham and Taft. On September 23, that firm received a $75,000 payment from the Save America PAC, according to Federal Election Commission records. Save America is a political action committee founded by Trump in 2020 after he lost the presidential election. It has since become his chief fundraising vehicle. Asked Thursday if the payment was related to the Trump Organization trial, Gravanti said, "I have no idea. I don't think it was in relation to this." Cadwallader's chief financial officer did not reply to questions about the payment. Asked again on Friday, Gravanti replied, "No comment." The same day Save America paid Gravant's firm, September 23, it also paid $100,000 to Van der Veen, Hartshorn and Levin. According to FEC records, Michael Van der Veen represents a Trump Organization company in the case. His firm previously received $149,864.39 on February 7 from the Republican National Committee. "I don't know, I'd have to ask our accounting department," Van der Veen said when asked Thursday afternoon if the payment was related to his Trump Organization work. Asked if he has done other recent work for Save America, Van der Veen replied, "I do lots of stuff." Van der Veen represented Trump during his second impeachment, in February 2021. That year his firm was paid more than $780,000 by the Make America Great Again PAC and the RNC. According to FEC records, the Make America Great Again PAC was a fundraising vehicle for Trump's 2020 campaign. Trump has called the Manhattan criminal case a political witch hunt. A spokesperson for Save America, Taylor Budowich, did not reply when asked about the payments. In response to Washington Post reporting in October about the use of donor money to pay law firms, Budowich accused Democrats of weaponizing taxpayer dollars with fake investigations and meritless cases in an attempt to intimidate and silence Republicans. The RNC has made 5 payments this year, totaling more than $885,000 to Neschles Law LLP. That firm comprises 2 attorneys, Susan Neschles and Gedalia Stern, who are both representing a Trump Organization company in the Manhattan trial. The most recent payments were for $116,181 on October 5 and $235,570 on September 7. Neschles would not discuss her work for the party. "You know, I really can't talk about it. I'm not going to comment on it," Neschles said. Weisselberg is set to take the stand again Friday for his 3rd day of testimony. In August he entered a guilty plea in the case, in which he and 2 Trump Organization entities were accused by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office of more than a dozen counts related to fraud and tax evasion. They're accused of taking part in a scheme in which executives at the company allegedly used a variety of methods to underreport to tax authorities millions in income over more than a decade. The Trump Organization has denied all charges, and during the trial its attorneys have sought to pin the blame on Weisselberg, saying he betrayed the trust of the Trumps and others at the company. Ash Kalmer contributed reporting for this story, The Last News. Secret Service agent Robert Engel, who was with Trump on January 6, testifies before House Select Committee. By Nicole Killion. Caroline Linton updated on November 17, 2022, 8:57 p.m., CBS News. Robert Engel, who was the head of former President Donald Trump's Secret Service detail on January 6, 2021, testified Thursday before the House Select Committee investigating the attack on the U.S. Capitol. Committee Chair Representative Benny Thompson said, "We learned some additional information and at some point we plan to use it," Thompson told reporters about Engel's testimony. "At some point we will share it." CNN was first to report Engel's appearance at a public hearing this summer. Trump White House aide Cassidy Hutchinson testified that Secret Service Assistant Director Anthony Ornato told her that, as the attack was playing out and Trump was being driven back to the White House, the former president said something to the effect of, "I'm the effing president, take me up to the Capitol now." Hutchinson also testified Ornato said that when Trump was told he had to return to the White House, he reached up to the front of the vehicle to grab at the steering wheel, prompting Engel to grab his arm. Trump then, according to Hutchinson, used his free hand to lunge toward Engel. She said Engel was in the room when Ornato told her this and he did not dispute it. A source close to the Secret Service confirmed to CBS News after Hutchinson's testimony that Engel and the driver were both prepared to testify under oath that neither man was physically attacked or assaulted by Trump and that the former president never lunged for the steering wheel of the vehicle. The source did not dispute that Trump demanded to be taken to the Capitol or his language. Engel and Ornato had both already testified before the committee prior to Hutchinson's testimony, but they have since been asked to return. Ornato retired from the Secret Service in August. Engel was also among the Secret Service officials whose phones were turned over to the Department of Homeland Security Inspector General Joseph Cuffari, as part of an investigation into missing Secret Service text messages from January 5 and January 6, 2021. The agent's text messages were previously subpoenaed by both the Inspector General and the House Select Committee. The Select Committee is currently wrapping up its investigation and it will issue a final report before it sunsets at the end of this year. Thompson said Thursday that the committee had pretty much done the first 8 chapters of the final report. The committee is not expected to continue once Republicans, many of whom opposed its creation, take control of the House in January. 3 of the committee's members will also not be returning to Congress. Republican Representative Liz Cheney was defeated in an August primary by a Trump-backed opponent. Fellow Republican Representative Adam Kinzinger opted not to run for re-election and Democratic Representative Elaine Luria was defeated by a Republican in the general election. Nicole Saganga contributed to this report. Thank you for your attention and don't forget to like and subscribe.